So first, I just want to start with some of the basics. What year were you born?
Where?
What year were you born?
Where? 1924.
1924. And where were you born?
And at Femi Osage, little town of Femi Osage, Missouri.
Yeah, I was just there 2 days ago.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. The church.
Oh.
I went to go talk to the pastor, Pastor Jeffrey Willie, and he gave me the story about the church, the original church where it was located, and he showed me the old schoolhouse across the way, and the cemetery there. And
well, I went to Sunday school until I was 22, and then I got married. And then we were members here of Augusta.
At Christ Lutheran? That's where I go. You guys got married April 24th of what year?
22nd.
22nd?
1950.
Nice. 1950. You just corrected the record.
My birthday is April 24th.
That's probably why we're gonna fix it. It says it right here in the book. We're gonna change it now. So April, you were married April
22nd.
22nd. Okay. Well, we'll fix that for them. 1950. Can you tell me more about Raymond?
Oh, well, he went to high school same time I did. We lived here in this house for 4 years.
4 years here? Okay.
And then my father had cows, milk. My father had a health problem, and that's when we moved over there with them because he couldn't handle it there, And my son Steve was born in 51.
Steve was the oldest. You had 3 sons.
I have 3 sons.
3 sons.
Steve's the oldest.
Yeah.
And then to Gordon and Lowell.
Yes. And who was the gentleman who brought you here today? Was that Lowell?
That's Lowell.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Youngest.
Yeah. Well, do you live close? Do you live with him or? He
lives with me.
You're right. We'll stick it that way. So 3 sons, and you lived. You lived in this house first after you got married?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and then moved.
My husband's parents went upstairs.
What did the house look like at that time?
The inside is they added on to when Leroy and Beth had it, and I guess they inherited it, you might say. Well,
can you tell me more about the room that we're sitting in? What was the room that we're sitting in now? Was this the dining room when you lived here, or was this one of the bedrooms?
Dining.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because originally it was a bedroom, correct?
Yeah, it was one bedroom, and that's all different there, Anyway, Bray was in the Army about 2 years, something like that. His cousin was a Donald, and he drove a school bus, and after that he worked in the post office, and he talked Ray into putting his application in at the post office, and that all went through.
So which post office was it?
In St. Louis.
St. Louis one.
St. Louis Post Office. Yeah, I don't exactly know.
No, that's okay.
What year it was, but he retired, and then he took a job at our church. We moved to Wentzville or New Mally here. Yeah. That's the route is Wentzville.
Right.
And he liked that job really a lot. And if you asked him which job did you really like the best, he would tell you working at the church with the kids.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And then he retired, and we built our house. We moved there in 1978.
Into the house in New Melly area, Wentzville, 1978. So can we go back to your parents? What were their names?
My parents were Herman and Pauline Backhaus.
Pauline. That's my aunt's name.
And my father had milk cows. And we always helped, got the cows out of the pasture in the summer. And I had 2 sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And my youngest sister was the one that helped him after my grandfather, who was in the hospital in St. Louis. And you would only could go to see him once or twice. I think he was there almost 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then across the highway in there was the zoo.
Mm-hmm.
And when we went to see Grandpa, we could see some of the animals, and we heard them going and everything, and that was really something for us.
Of course, yeah. And it's still there.
And then my father and our neighbor decided that it would really be nice if we could go there and go to the zoo.
Mm-hmm.
So our neighbors, the oldest son was Raymond, and he had a truck. And he would pick up our cream and our eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And any time that you needed something that they didn't have in the store over there in Femmes, if you tell him, he would bring it for you.
Yeah.
And so that's how we existed, I guess. A big garden.
Mm-hmm. So meeting Raymond was because he was your neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now our neighbor's name was Theodore, and he was Theo. And so we were so neighborly. If we had something in the garden that they didn't have, well, they got half of it, or they would bring something to us when they had it. And so we had to go to past my grandma's house, which was about a mile away, and to get our mail.
Mm-hmm.
The mail didn't come that close. So one of our family would go to grandma's house every day and pick up the mail.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Mollenkrots, our neighbors, their mailbox was in with ours. There was one mailbox. My grandparents, my parents, and our neighbors.
Just had to sort the mail. I'm sure it all got to the right places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyway, so the neighbors didn't always come every day, but pretty much so, to pick up the mail. And
Well, can I ask
then we would thrash.
Oh, that's a fun job.
Yeah, we always enjoyed that. We tried to make such a big dinner for the guys, and then let's see. We could see the, it was run by a steam engine.
Mm-hmm.
And from our neighbors, our other neighbors, we were almost so close that we could hear them. Made a lot of noise,
They usually do.
And so when we did the trash, when we didn't have electricity until after I got married.
What was that like? The first time having electricity?
Well, that was, we didn't know any better.
Right.
The whole neighborhood didn't have electricity.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know any better. And so my dad worked in the field until it was so late. We never had, unless it was something special, we never had supper in daylight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well.
And then we had lamps in the house, and Dad had lanterns outside. It was my job to always make sure that the chimney on the lamp or our lantern was nice and clean.
Yeah. The oil
because
filled.
if you turned it up just a little bit, the glass would get black, and so that was my job. And my younger sister helped my dad milk. There wasn't no milking machines.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. That good raw milk. It's good. Yeah. So what were some of your other chores that you did? Maybe some that you enjoyed, some that you didn't.
Well, we had a big garden and we canned everything. We canned. Oh my, we had an orchard, just a small orchard, but everybody had that because you couldn't go to the store and buy peaches or apples or anything like that.
Yeah. Tastes better when it comes from home.
Well,
it tastes better when it comes from home.
Oh, yes.
When it comes right from outside the window.
Yeah, and we canned a whole lot of. We canned everything, and we didn't have a basement, but we had a cellar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And of course, you raised a whole lot of potatoes and then when we had our fruit made apple butter.
Uh-huh. I was going to ask that.
And I miss it so much.
Did you ever go to help with apple butter making at church?
Oh,
yes. At Christ Lutheran? Yeah.
Yes. We would get apples from in Illinois, an orchard, and a whole bunch of ladies would come and we'd peel apples, and the next day get up early and get the apple pots on.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun.
Of course.
But
yes.
It was work.
It's work. What type of things did you do to get out? Did you go to Washington for
Well, I
events?
belonged. We had a good 4-H. Mm-hmm. I was a member of 4-H for quite a few years.
Mm-hmm.
We had sewing, cooking, and the boys had hogs, cattle, and then we'd take that stuff to the fair. Mm-hmm. We always had a big fair.
How many awards?
Yeah.
Did you win any awards?
I didn't have any hogs or cattle, but my sister did.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Did you do any like school activities? What school did you go to?
Well, it's not there anymore, but it was Samuel's age school. Our school was sort of like there was a field, and then our school was to the back. And of course, there was no telephone, and we had a boy who would get what do you call it? I forgot that. But anyway, when he got a spell of that, one of our 8th grade boys would have to run over there to Bird Seekers and call his parents to come and get him, you know. But the school the building isn't even there anymore.
Okay.
So our neighbors who had all those kids went to the same school, of course, and one of the kids was Teddy, and he would, when we had a ball game, he would climb up on the woodshed, and he would sit there and he would announce it.
Oh, well, good.
That was something.
Yeah. Was that one of the Mallinckrodts?
Yes.
Okay. What was the parents' name? The Mallinckrodt family that lived.
The Mallinckrodt family. Their father was Theodore.
Theodore. Okay.
And their mother was let's see, what was it?
Hilda. Okay. And their kids. So that's a very big name around here.
Oh yeah.
So it's the Nadlers.
Yeah, right.
That's good. So going back to Raymond, and you met and knew each other for a while, obviously. What was it like being young and dating and the courtship?
Well, he was in the service about 2 years, not quite 2 years. I didn't have no idea that what all would happen after we got out of school. But after he was home, and he always played ball with the Augusta group.
Right.
And on the Sunday afternoon, we would go and he would come and get me to watch a ball game. And I worked in Washington.
Oh, okay.
After school.
Where did you work?
Well, I worked at a shoe factory.
Okay.
And my job was they would bring me the shoes were all made from leather. Of course, was nothing like cloth or anything.
All the rubberized soles and
nothing like that.
Leather lasted longer too.
And it was my job to figure out what that certain pair of shoes would cost.
Oh, okay.
They would give me all the leather and all that, how much it took. And so I did that for 3 years. And then the factory closed. And then I got a job in Washington at a car place.
Is this all before you were married?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the job I had when I got married.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and
how did he propose?
Well, we dated about a year, and then he decided it was time to get married.
Yeah.
And so at Christmas, he gave me an engagement ring, and And I was married on the 22nd of April. Oh, and then we lived here for several years until my dad had a problem with his hand. And there were all milk cows, is what kind of cattle we had. And of course, we didn't have no milking machine, no electric, and so it all had to be done by hand. And he couldn't handle that anymore. So
you had to go help.
So we lived there about 2 years, and then Ray got the job at the post office.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Well, what sort of things did you like to do for fun? I mean, I know there's lots to do once you're married and start having kids, but what did you two enjoy to do? You know, did you?
What did I?
Well, what did you and Raymond enjoy? Like on maybe some downtime. What did you enjoy doing together?
Oh, well, he loved baseball. I didn't care just too much for it, but of course I went along. And you see, that was before Washington had a bridge.
Right. Just the ferry.
Yeah. And when you went to Washington, we would only get to go to Washington once a year, and that was just before Christmas.
Well, what was it that you wanted to do there? What was the event once a year?
Well, that was to do Christmas shopping.
Oh, okay.
And there was a boat that would go back and forth across the river. But my dad would never drive on the boat. I don't know why. I don't think he thought it was
didn't trust it quite.
Good idea.
Right. It does seem a little weird. It does.
And so we would go drive to the river and then get on the boat and we'd all walk. Mm-hmm. Wherever we were going to go, you walked.
Yeah.
And that was the highlight of our year. We'd buy a lot of bananas. And we'd be on that boat and we could all each have a banana, and then we'd throw the peelings in the water and watch it float
away.
And it's just something so simple, but it was something we enjoyed.
Yeah, it's a memory. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I like that. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I asked, what was something fun that you did, or what type of trouble did you get into? Because there's always seems to be a good little story there, which I'm guessing you didn't get into much trouble.
Oh, I don't know.
There's always something to do around here. That's what I'm learning. And being a young kid who works hard on a farm and has a big family, there's always something to do, but to have some downtime to go fishing or...
Mallinckrodt boys, there were 3 girls and 12 boys. 2 of them died. One was only 3 months old. The other one was 21, and he had, you used to hear quite a bit of it. Appendicitis.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And what do you do at that time?
I know. Yeah, that's sad.
So anyway, and then my brother was big enough to do some farm work, and my dad had a job. I don't know how this all hung together, but he would had a kind of a thing with a wheel and push it and measure a field.
Oh.
A county.
Mm-hmm. I guess would that be like a surveyor?
And then
the land.
Not exactly a surveyor, but
just for the...
that's when the I think that must have been the time when you were a farmer and you could when you did your work outside in the field. You did a certain thing right. I don't know how it all hung together, but then you could get paid for it.
Yeah.
And he would have to go to St. Charles and do something there. I don't know. And then we would go along.
Mm-hmm.
And the courthouse in St. Charles was on a hill,
mm-hmm.
and then there were steps that went all the way down
mm-hmm.
to the street, and then there was an eating place right down there, and we just loved to go there. You didn't go to a restaurant.
Hardly ever, huh?
But there there was a parrot.
A parrot?
The guy that owned the restaurant had a parrot, and you could talk to it, and it would talk back to you.
I'm sure people went to the restaurant just to see the parrot.
Sure.
Yeah.
Probably so.
Smart marketing, I guess. Yeah.
And anyway, we just loved that. And then me and my sisters and I guess we were pretty close, maybe to being teenagers, and we got permanents.
Ah. Was that the first one? Yeah.
Yeah. And this year, one of my nieces, who lived in Texas, passed away.
Mm-hmm. I heard that. Sorry to hear. Yeah. Well,
so I haven't heard if her family's coming
here
or not. I don't know.
Well, I won't keep you too long because they might be here. And
yeah,
we'll have to go see them. I could ask tons of questions, but is there anything that you'd like people to know? Just about maybe a fond memory of Augusta, the area. A lot of people from the area will probably see this video, and is there a fond memory of doing things in town? A good story to tell? Something you remember vividly from maybe the town of Augusta? Anything?
Well, me being 97, a lot of my friends are gone.
I know. Yeah.
And I imagine there would have been a lot of them that you could have talked to, but let's see. I wonder who there is yet.
Well, Paul Oviatt and I, we try to reach out to the older generation to get these stories. I think it's something that we have to share with our younger generation, and the kids need to hear these stories. And
when I went to school on Monday, my mom would give me a dime, and during school we have an hour at noon, and you could do anything you wanted, just so you'd be back at 1 o'clock.
Yes.
Well, and then my mom would give me a dime, and she always baked bread. We never had baker's bread. So when I went to high school, then at noon I could go to the store over there and get a loaf of bread, and that would be for our sandwiches the rest of the week.
So you spent your dime on a loaf of bread from the store.
Loaf of bread was a dime.
I know, fresh bread. My mom makes it too. I was actually just looking at the store in Finn Osage. I was looking through the window, hoping that someday someone would restore the building, bring it back to life a little bit.
Yeah.
I was just peeking through that window. Because the post office was in the same building, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I learned a lot the other day. I did. That's very interesting.
Whenever there was a funeral or something, of course, the church bell rang. And after I retired, then if there was a funeral, I would come in. And you know, they when the church service was over, when there was a funeral, and they would come and were ready to go to the cemetery, then they ring the church bell.
There was a sheet up there that told you how many times they would ring the bell and for what purpose. And
the bell would ring 33 times. The age that Christ was. Yeah. And then at a funeral, you couldn't see when the hearse was off of the on the highway, you know.
Oh,
and then
couldn't
that's
physically
when
see.
they ring the church bell. And my husband rang that church bell all the time, and then we always for a very long time. We had church at 8, and now we've got church and another one, and I always get there at 8, and I don't know. I think it's 9:30.
I think that's what the sign said, 9:30.
And then we have another one. We have 3 on Sunday morning and 1 on Saturday night.
Who was the pastor there? When you were...
The pastor is Roma, and Pastor, what's his name? I know it so well, but can't think of it right now.
That's okay. Were you were confirmed there?
I was confirmed in February.
So were your kids baptized in the Christ Lutheran Church?
My oldest one was.
Okay. Yeah.
And the other 2 were in Our Redeemer in Overland.
Oh, okay. I had the chance to put up Raymond's photo on our veteran wall at the museum. And when Beth and Leroy stopped at the museum that day, it was kind of nice to see all that. And I told him that, to see that Raymond was an honor guard, was pretty impressive. That says a lot about somebody. I respect all of our servicemen, but it's a little special to hear that you're an honor guard. But to see these nice photos of the gentlemen when they were younger, and there's it's good family resemblance. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were lucky.
See, these 2 guys were our neighbors.
It's a great picture, that one there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other ones that we had, were just of the Nadler family.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, I've been, Beth has given me a little tour. Actually, Beth and Leroy gave us a house tour, my husband and I, and my parents one day, so.
I'm so glad that we went back after the COVID when we didn't have it.
Yes, I agree.
That we picked it up again.
Yes. Be together, a good smile and a hug, share some food and stories. And, I think a lot of it is that the younger kids be able to see that.
Yeah.
And it's something special.
We lived so different than what they do today. When we grew up, we just didn't have everything they got now.
I know.
But we were happy.
Happy, and I think you appreciated things more.
Oh, I just think it was so wonderful that I learned what I did when I was a kid. Nowadays, how many kids work like we did, at our age.
Yeah. I learned a lot when I was a kid, and I didn't have the technology to the extent that they have now. but I always enjoy hearing a good story. And those good stories usually came from my elders, and I always liked it. So it's very interesting for me. But I think you have to keep telling the story to the younger generations.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, it's just going to fizzle away. So one way we do that is by, having a book put together of family photos and information and dates, which I think we need to correct one of the dates in here. And getting together and having these memories, so you were a big part of that. And you'll be remembered just like everybody else that has been here in the past, And I think that today was special because we got to document a little bit more. And your family will be able to see this video, and everyone around town. So that's good.
We had a fabulous age school, and we had maybe like 15 kids. And I guess we learned at that time whatever there was. In this day and age, I have a grandson who has a birthday today. I think he's 8.
His birthday's today?
His birthday today.
Oh.
And that's why they're not here. Because his mother planned a birthday party.
Yeah.
And anyway, he is very smart, and he was in the 4th grade this year, I believe, and but he does 8th grade math.
Oh, he's smart, very smart then. Yeah.
But she's a teacher. His mother is a teacher. She spends so much time with him.
And it shows.
It really shows.
That's good. That's good. Did you enjoy your teacher, though, at
Oh,
school?
yes. We had Miss Koch, and she was such a good teacher. And I and a neighbor kid went to school on the 2nd semester after Christmas. And went to school because we just wanted to go to school.
Oh.
And our parents went to the teacher and talked to her, and would it be okay with her if they would send Eloise was her name, Webbing.
Oh, Webbing, yeah.
Eloise and I went to school when we were 5 years old. We went to school the last semester, and we just loved it, and we loved our teacher. And we had to walk 1.5 miles every day, one way.
Rain or snow, well,
Sure.
It doesn't snow here that much, but
if it
didn't
was
matter.
really bad, we might get a ride.
Yeah.
But not that often. And then we walked a ways, and then we would get on Highway 94. And then a lot of times we had somebody who had to go to the store to get something.
Yeah.
Always would pick us up.
Of course. Yeah. Hitch a ride. Yeah. What was your favorite subject in school?
My favorite subject, when I went to school, I loved math, but then it got pretty hard for me.
Yeah, I agree.
But I liked science.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I tell everybody I didn't really like history when I was in school, but now I find it very interesting to dig back in time and ask questions. And
yes, I watch the news every morning. That's the first thing I do after I get out of bed and get dressed. And I'll sit there for an hour or half and just watch the news. And that's so interesting to me. There are some things I really like and some things I wish they'd quit.
The local stories are great here. Everyone keeps each other informed. That's nice. And it seems like everybody, as a community, watch out for each other. Mm-hmm. And that's also great. So we could have the news all over the world, but sometimes it's real important right here at home.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, because it affects us personally. And it's a great community. I'm glad to be a part of it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real neat to see this from the outside in.
Mm-hmm.
And the relationships that everyone has formed, because everyone knows somebody and or related to them at this point, you know, which is kind of neat to hear some of the stories and some of these photos and the connections between everybody. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you want
right there is our wedding picture.
I know. I already took a picture of that. It's great. Did you save anything from your dress?
You know, I got my dress yet. You know that I have one of my let's see, Tony. You know, you used to have what do you call it now?
We're talking about a veil or the dress?
To put yourself in. I can't think of it right now. My brother-in-law made homemade.
Where you store the dress?
Yeah, where you store stuff.
Like a cedar chest?
Chest.
Okay.
Yes.
So you still have your dress?
I have it in there. I haven't seen it for years, but it's there.
Did your mom make the dress?
Oh, no.
No? Mm-hmm. Did you buy it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, still.
And I have one of Ray's cousins who comes to me whenever I call her and need a haircut.
And her name is?
Elaine.
I know Elaine. She's a very sweet woman.
Yeah. And the last time she came to me and she said, I found something in a drawer that I think you would like. And she brought me the wedding invitation.
She brought you your...
Yes.
Oh, how sweet.
And she said that her parents, she decided it was time to clean out some drawers. Mm-hmm. And she said that was in there.
Yeah.
Gave it back.
See, this is why you should organize once in a while. You find things.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, that you maybe didn't think of years ago, but then all of a sudden it meant something.
Yeah.
And you want to show it, share it off a little bit. Yeah, that's neat. Yeah. Well, that's good. Would you like to head back out? I can tell there's lots of people here.
Yeah.
It's a special day for you guys. So,
yeah.
Yeah.